So I've removed these screws. There's two on the back, two on the sides, and it folds away. It's got some kind of burn damage here. This is from the power supply, extreme heat. Hence my, whoops. This has a 2 meg memory board in it. This is an aftermarket update. The 68,000 sits right on here. This board kind of shoves in here. These cables apparently are extremely finicky. So on the CDTV, I'm going to tilt this forward and show you. This is a very extremely heavy unit. This must weigh probably 11 US pounds. If you think, holy crap, yeah, holy crap. Well, you have an Agnes right here. This is an 8372A 318-06902, which is an NTSC or a PAL Agnes. And here's the cool thing that is really neat about the CDTV. This power supply is a switching power supply. It has a standard regular power supply connector on the back. You know, that little 3-pinner. This unit is both NTSC and PAL at the same time. It has dual crystals. You have the 28.37516, which is PAL, and you have the 28.63636, which is NTSC. Isn't that awesome? You have the same vidiot as the 500. You have a cable and another cable. We got some weird bus cables here that they're just the internal connector cables. This is factory original. Nothing's been touched. All the original black tape is still on all of the cables. The fan, everything is as it came in 1991. Someone's been in here though because they put the 2 meg RAM board on. And this is a revision 2.2. So this originally comes with only 1 meg of RAM, which is the ZIF 20s over here in the corner. Your 1 meg Agnes. It's basically an Amiga 500. There are some factory bodge wires from a couple of the chips to U23. I don't know why or what they're for. You have some different connectors in here and some weird upside down ROMs. But I need to get to the CD-ROM to cap it out, which means I have to remove everything. And I hear if you touch these cables, they shatter. So I ordered some new ones. I also ordered a new ROM set for this. Power supply is going to need to be checked, recapped for sure. I know that much. That's going to be big caps. I'm going to have to special order those. That is just dust. I thought it was some fingerprints. You know how I feel about touching the power supplies. I'm going to do the right thing and wipe off my mess. Just a little IPA on a dirty towel to clean the power supply where I touched it. Not that it's going to do much good and no one cares about this but me. But it's always nice when you open a unit up and it's not all scagged full of rusty fingerprints. Bet you yours are. Check them. It's just kind of a thing. I always try to wipe the case because Commodore didn't think these were going to last more than a couple years anyway. Now, my goal with this is not to make this into another super duper Amiga. This is going to be a factory restored yet upgraded module. In the back you saw I had some kickstart switches to kick between the CDTV ROMs and the 1.3. That way it was able to do some magic and you could kind of use it like a computer with a keyboard and mouse and play some games. I figured I would do the next best thing. Download all 77 CDTV titles in ISO format from archive.org and burn 77 labeled discs. You know, my artwork is on par with Commodore, so why not? I think this is a really intriguing and unique unit. It's not as popular, of course. Why does this have a 40-pin IDE connector right here? And this one looks like a freaking SCSI bus. This connector, labeled CN2, looks like a daggone LVD SCSI cable. This is a little unique project that I am just so freaking tickled pink about. You don't see a lot of these here in America, and the ones that you do see are usually trashed beyond recognition or underappreciated for what they actually are. Yes, it's an Amiga 500 with a CD-ROM drive and a goofy remote and a weird keyboard. The idea of this was to have this all-in-one home entertainment system that could be a computer, it could be a CD, CDTV, a CDI, or CDG graphics machine. This was 90s. You know, we were figuring out where we wanted to be. This board was manufactured August of 91. It's new to me. I'm learning. Hopefully I can pass a bean on to you. Hey, it's 9 o'clock at night. I've been screwing around with this thing for hours. It's been running pretty good. I did turn it off for a while and let it cool down. I just turned it on 19 minutes ago, you can tell by the clock. And I went to pull this forward and this slot came out. Like that. It's some little sticky tape, I guess because it kept falling out. And it looks like a PCM CIA slot. I think it's an early expansion slot. I looked it up on the old interwebs and it's got some, like a SRAM cartridge can go in there or something like that. I thought it was going to be some extra controls that I don't have the remote for yet. That was that. It is still running. I'm listening to Megadeth. And I've just been sitting here. I've just been letting it sit here and run. Power cycling it. Going through the weird proprietary CD-ROM again. And, you know, it does need caps. I have found a really good blog on the World of Janai, blog.worldofjanai.com. Great resource for the actual caps, locations, some goofs that Commodore made, go figure, and learning a little bit. You know, I've always wanted a CDTV, never had the opportunity to have one. Now I have one, and it's just, what a complex machine. This is basically an Amiga 500 on crack with a 1.3 ROM and now 3 megs of RAM, 8371 1 meg Agnes, or 8372A 1 meg Agnes, ECS Denise, and a CD-ROM. Remote control infrared. Has a weird, like I thought it was a SCSI SCA or something. It's a weird 80-pin expansion slot and like an IDE header and SCSI, and but it's not. I found a cluster of hot glued capacitors over here in a big mess, and one that's leaking. Well, you really can't see it because my camera skills are just that of the news, but that dark goop in the hot glue is, it looks like acid. I don't know. Who knows? And it's just dusty. It could be dust because it is right next to the power supply fan sucking out, and it's not the best sealed. It's like wide open down here. I can stick my whole hand in here. And, you know, that old chestnut. I want to get to the CD-ROM and recap that mainly just to correct the issue where this doesn't want to start up. When I put this in, it just makes a noise and doesn't want to spin. I have to do this weird, if I can get it spinning by doing this, it'll spin up and then you'll see the CD-ROM tracks appear and this light will come on and it will be good if I can keep it running. So that's kind of the nuts and soup of it. There's their tracks. I can press play and the little laser will shoot down here and start playing sound. So functional, yes, with like a kickstart. Not a kickstart, but like a, you know, gotta give her some love. Very stout eject button. To remove this board, it looks like there's just several screws, 800,000 cables. I'm going to take some photos and carefully remove this board. We have a cable here for CD-ROM audio, normal. We have a cable on the left that goes to the right port and the cable on the right that goes to the left port. That's the kind of stuff you got to document. You got to write it down because it's going to screw you up and it's not labeled. You just got to take 8 billion photos of every single connector. That way you have them and you can reference them, because trust me, I don't always finish on the same day, and I might have it in my head where I know what's going on, and then, you know, you come back to something, you're like, oh my, where was I? Holy crap. So the time lapse is up here. You can see it going on. Here's the CDTV motherboard. Little did I know it has this weird card that kind of slides and you have to pull out and up. So you slide forward and then up. Yay. Now I have to get some IPA or Windex or something and clean off my fingerprints, because I touched the bottom of the board and I don't want any fingerprints on it. Look, fingerprints. Not my fingerprints everywhere, but somebody's been in here before. I want to make sure that my fingerprints are not on it. I actually have white gloves that I would like to use. Okay, this is going to be weird Remove the 68,000 2 meg mod. That'll go in this box up here. It's pretty big. So this unit's the CD-ROM. I need to get to the CD-ROM 2, which involves taking this massive metal chassis and board out. This is apparently a proprietary connector. This is another connector that is for this PCM-CIA type card that no one uses, so that is irrelevant. We also have to have one more cord here and the back plane for the power input mains, and then the power supply can come out once I get the CD-ROM out, and then we'll have that cord there. So that is pretty much... Oh, does this have a burg on the end of it? It does. At least that's semi-standard. Everything else is freaking batty. With that, this is heavy. Yep. Oh my God, this is 10 pounds. Easy. 10 pounds. Ugh. Looking at some craziness on how to get those plugs out. And holy crap, they were something to be reckoned with. This is the CD board, which I have to then take out of the entire CD unit. But I am leery about just taking things apart. When I was doing this, it was enough of whatever to make the CD-ROM spin. I don't know why, but that's what I'm going with because that's what worked. I'm going to take these screws out here, which are marked. This is not going to be the right screwdriver anymore. I'm not taking any cables out of the board itself. This is a proprietary CD-ROM that only exists on this machine, and finding another one is going to be next to impossible. It doesn't mean it's not possible, but next to impossible. It is 9:33 p.m. on Saturday. I have new cables on order. I'm going to peek. Never like to go pulling on it. There is a ribbon cable here, and another cable there. And this is the gift that just keeps on giving. So we're going to remove 4 more screws out of here before I even pull up on that board to separate the drive unit. Holy crap! Give me John Holmes here. Oh my goodness, you are too tight. So I don't think that's ever been out. You're part of the same family. Who put these in? He-Man? This screw was inserted so hard, the metal is actually ground out on this piece. Incredible. I hope I remember how to put this back together. Okay, that separated this monstrosity, which can go down here. I will recap an Amiga 4000 any day. Look at this goofy CD-ROM unit. This is the circuit board, this is the drive bay. There is a ribbon cable that wraps around a laser that inserts a cartridge into here and moves a bristle across the laser. There's a bristle cleaning by this thing. When you put it in, it moves the bristle away. Very neat indeed. Okay, vibration head here. Yeah, there is a ribbon that I have to get to. I don't know how I'm going to get to. So I'm going to pull these 6 screws off, which probably have never been out. And they're machine screws. So I'm going to ultra fine Phillips, which means my magnetic tools probably are not big enough. So I'm going to have to use this thing with no grip. And you got dill pickles, it's hard to get screw bits out. There we go. Okay, so carefully, there's 2 rails here too. So again, more photos, okay? Always take lots of photos you can reference back. So I have to remove this ribbon cable, this power cable, and these ribbon cables. These I'm going to pull up with my fingers, and they should come right out. I don't think these are the lift connectors. They're usually just insertions. They are. That's one here. Use your fingers because your skin is more available to pull these out. This one is a lift connector that is way down low. I'm going to use my pull-out pliers here to wiggle this head loose, and then my fingers to remove the motor ribbon. This is a blind guy doing heart surgery. I have worked on some hard units in my day. That did not sound right. Oh my. Now this entire unit can come out. That was tough. That was very, very, very tough. Now what we have is our board. Wow, not a lot of capacitors on here. They're very small, they're very dirty, and they're very, very, very dirty. I don't know what this little board is. This is not on the pictures. What is this contraption? There's a picture of the board. I don't know what this is. Not really too bad once you cleaned her all out. Like I said, somebody's been in here doing something. I am doing this the cheat way. The cheat way is this. I hold the capacitor in my hand. I touch one solder point until it melts. And then I reverse it to the other side just until it melts. And then I just keep touching them and wiggling out. Not wiggling hard. And the capacitor comes out on its own. Why? There is no room for mistakes on this board. Nada. I'm going to braid the holes clean with flux and just pray to the Amiga gods that none of this goes south. I've got the heat low. I'm not superheating this. Like literally just enough, because these pads, as you can see here, they're just hanging on. I mean, they're in there, but I don't want to overdo it at all. It has a little half smiley face. That's your ground side, so that's going to be your shorter leg. I'm soldering these in one at a time. I am not going to go ripping everything out. I just want to get it in low and slow. 250 degrees Fahrenheit, silver bead solder, in quick and out of the heat. Bingo, bingo, trim the leg. One of like 20. That's how I'm doing it. I'm going to flip back when it's done. It's 11:29 p.m. Holy crap. That took forever. Why? Because a lot of my caps were larger than the ones from Commodore 30 years ago. I got flux in my mouth. I had to bend a couple over to keep the low profile height. All these red dots are the caps I replaced. As you can see, there's red dots all over the place because this big pile of stuff, and this is my last bit of braid. I was supposed to go to the store the other day and get some more. Couldn't find it. CD-ROM board is completed. Now, this big puppy here, I do not have these things. These are 3310 volt. I don't even have any capacitors that large, and I need 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. I mean, they're working. They're not split. I don't really see any leaks. I see some dirt. But these are showies. I got a cluster here, and a weird Rubicon here. You can go up in voltage as long as you keep the same microfarad rating. Usually doesn't matter. Do I feel like doing 60 more capacitors tonight at 11:32 p.m.? No, I don't. Ugh. When you get flux on your hands, it just becomes a sticky mess. And then you cut your finger and you have a band-aid issue. Now, what I could do is I could clean up, but I'm not gonna, because I'm gonna be using this stuff again. I'm getting tired. Ugh. I am turning the soldering iron off for the evening, I'll tell you that much. I am going to attempt to put this CD-ROM back together. Now the fun begins. This thing stays in the back like this. Shiny circuit board is on the bottom because why would it be? This goes here like this. And, oh, I have to make sure all my caps fit. Look at those two. They're just a little bit off. So we have to fix that with some persuasion. 1, 2. There we go. Let's fix that problem. That's why I had to bend all those down, because, oh man, they just fit. You need them low to go. This goes in here. This goes in here. This one goes in here. And the hardest one of all, this one goes in here where you cannot physically get to it unless you lift up on this with those two other ones connected. But I just can't. You can't do it. I'm pulling this out. I can't see anything. I'm sorry. How in the Sam hell? How do I get that in there? How do I get it in there? The cable I'm talking about is this. This ribbon cable goes way down deep to that white thing, which you have to pull out. So this white thing has to pull out like your Amiga 1200's keyboard connector. This piece slides into there, and you have to reconnect it. The only way to get to it is by lifting this board up, which disconnects these cables, which you can't get in there anyway because your fingers are too big. Holy crap, that took me forever. It's 11:45 p.m. I had to use two picks, like little tiny fingers, open one up and shove this thing in there. Holy crap. Great job, Matsushita Kotobuki. I'll tell you what, I need a Kotobuki after that one. Alright, so a spring went on something. That's great. It probably goes right here. White lithium grease around here like it owes me money. The level of depth and complication that is in this drive alone is immense. Alright, eject button is here. That's down. Down is good. That's why they were hanging, because they're crusty. You press this, it lifts up nice now. These need to be aligned a little better. When they're in the caddy, they would be. And then now inserting a cartridge goes right down. Hot D-A-double-G. I'm going to press this as load. That way this goes flat. And I can get this stupid metal thing to stick back here. Because that is... How on earth did they do this? How on earth do you do that? How do you do this? How do you hold this metal freaking spring, like all the way over here against this wall, to get around this metal clip? What kind of science fiction stuff is this? It goes on the inside of this arm, which apparently screws to this thing that just sits on this thing and has nothing to do with anything. I took pictures, I went back and referenced it, and all that for a windshield wiper. So none of this even matters because these just attach to here. So these pegs can get on these holes, but I need this thing on this block to hold the spring in place that causes the whole damn thing to function. I can get the front pegs in, then I can't get the back pegs in. Alright, so here's the mechanism. I'm upside down. When you put your cartridge in, the wiper wipes the lens. It also opens the tray to spin the CD-ROM, moves it out of the way. So it is essential. The pins also lock onto the cartridge to hold it in place. Holy crap. I got it. That only took an hour. Or, yeah. So CD goes in like this. Yes, upside down because the screws here were put in so tightly they broke the metal casing. Oy! Wow, is this even IDE? No. Ugh. Jeez whiz, I'm tired. And just like that, it's 1 a.m. There we go. These little peg things, that's why I had to buy new cables. That lights up though. Alright, my drive lit up. There we go. Let's see now. Spins right up. Hot doggity dog. New caps on the CD-ROM. Pa-chow. Okay. Everything works. Eject. Reset. Reset works. CDTV. This is the Amiga one. CDTV logo. Push this in. Spins right up. Access light is on. That was an ordeal. It is currently 1 a.m.
Prepare yourself for the ultimate home computer.
Not the Amiga 600.
The Amiga 1 megabyte A600. For the family of today, Amiga, the ultimate home computer. Interact to find out more.
Alright, so stop button. Reset again. Power down. Eject cartridge. Mission complete. I'm not touching the board. I'm not touching it. There ain't nothing working. There ain't nothing not working on it. I'm waiting for my 3 front new ribbon cables. And I'm gonna, you know, if I could just press this one down, the clock works again. And everything's fine. When I let go, the clock goes out. Oh. Maybe I'll stick something heavy on top of it. I don't know. It's just to push down the wires. I got a lot of footage filmed tonight. That took an extreme amount of time. What, 4 hours? 4 hours to recap the CD-ROM drive. And it wasn't the CD-ROM's motherboard that was the hard part. I mean, yeah, there were some tiny caps and I had to take my extreme time with them. And there's nothing wrong with that. Take your time. Even if it takes you 2 days, who cares? Take your time. It's no rush. The hard part was getting to it. This SOB is the most complex, weirdest put together thing out of Commodore that I have messed with at all. I never worked on one of these. Power supply is fine. It works. That's what I needed to do. It's got a 2 megabyte chip RAM mod thing, and they're 1 mega chip and 2 megs of fast, so 3 megs total. The Kiko chip. All the magic that makes this happen. The modulator board needed to be in order for it to work. The expansion diagnostic socket, which I found out what this is. I don't know what the heck plugs into that. This IDE looking cable is for this SRAM cartridge in the front, and this is the sort of kind of IDE but not really cable in the back for the proprietary unique CD-ROM. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to wash my hands, change this bandage where I sliced my finger open, opening the box of this. So hey, thanks for watching. I hope this helps you, and as always, I hope you learned something.